Good evening. This is the January 10th, 2024 Seminole County Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This board is a 7-member board appointed by the Board of County Commissioners. A quorum has been established to hold tonight's meeting. Public hearing items acted upon by this board are referred to the Board of County Commissioners for further consideration. The board members we have present tonight are Carissa Lawhon, myself, Vice Chairman Dan Lopez, Commissioner Richard German, Commissioner Lourdes Aguirre. Did I say that? Aguirre?
Yes, you did.
And Commissioner Mike Lorenz. Our staff present tonight are Kathy Hamill, Interim Planning Manager, Desmond Morrell, Senior Assistant County Attorney, Vladimir Semenovsky, Development Review Engineering Manager, Hillary Payton, Planner, and Tammy Brushwood, our P&Z Board Clerk. Tonight's meeting will go as follows. The staff will introduce each item. The applicant will then present the item. Audience members wishing to speak will then be heard. Please complete a comment card if you wish to speak and give it to the clerk. Comment cards are located out in the lobby. Speakers should restrict their comments to information directly related to the items being heard. Audience speakers will have 3 minutes to speak or 6 minutes if they're representing an official group. When called, speakers should approach the microphone and provide their name and address for the record. The board may then ask questions of the speaker. After all speakers have been heard, public comment will be closed. The applicant will be given a chance for rebuttal. And any items shown, such as videos, presentations, pictures, or maps, must be left with the clerk for the public record. So if you're going to show any items from an electronic device, your cell phone, these should be arranged to be emailed to the clerk. A motion will then be made and seconded. Board discussion may occur and will conclude with a vote. I will request a roll call vote for any split votes. From there, we'll begin our first item on the agenda, which is the approve of publication.
I move we approve.
Okay, second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, seeing none, the proof of publication is approved. Next, we move to the approval of the minutes. Do I have a motion or any changes?
I'd like to make a motion to make some clerical changes on the minutes.
Okay.
On page 1 of the minutes, it looks as though Commissioner Stephen Smith was not included as being in attendance. On page 2 of the minutes, it was 4 votes in favor, and again, Commissioner Stephen Smith was excluded. On page 5 of the minutes, again, 4 votes in favor at the top, and Commissioner Stephen Smith was excluded. And then one final, on page 5, on the 2024 P&Z meeting schedule, it was listed as 1:20 for the next meeting. Obviously, it's the 10th.
I move we approve with the changes the Vice Chairman brought up.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Moving next to our public hearing items. We have item number 1, our one and only item this evening, the Trinity Prep Special Exception. Hillary Payton presenting.
Good evening, Hillary Payton, Planning and Development. This item is a request for a special exception to construct an additional educational building at an existing private school in the A1 zoning district. The applicant is requesting to construct a 30,000 square foot science building at the private school that was established in 1968. The additional education building will be 2 stories tall and 35 feet in height and will serve their existing student population of 888 students. The development order in your packet will be modified to add a condition of approval capping the student population at the existing 888 students. The school property and the proposed structure straddles the Seminole County and Orange County line. 34.87 acres of the 90.19 acres property is in Seminole County, and 55.32 acres of it lies in Orange County. 22,140 square feet of the 30,000 square foot proposed structure is on Seminole County side, and the remaining 7,860 square feet lies in Orange County. An interlocal agreement has been granted to allow Seminole County to process the permitting of the entire structure. The structure will be constructed in an existing parking lot, which will remove 56 parking spaces, and although in my staff report it stated they will not be replacing those parking spots, Orange County is now requiring the applicant under their special exception to replace 35 of the parking spaces. The parking spaces will all be on the Seminole County side of the campus. The school still exceeds the parking requirement of 1 spot per 4 seats in the auditorium. Their auditorium has 800 seats, so therefore they're required to have 200. The school will have 317 parking spaces after the addition of the 35, which is well within the Land Development Code requirements. In compliance with Seminole County Land Development Code's community meeting procedures, the applicant conducted a community meeting on July 13th of 2023. Staff recommends the Board of County Commissioners approve the special exception and associated development order for an additional educational building at an existing private school in the A1 zoning district. This concludes my presentation. I'm available for any questions.
Thank you. Any questions of staff? Is the applicant here? Would they like to present?
Yes, good evening. My name is Rick Beldocki with Avcon. We're the engineering firm representing Trinity Preparatory School. I don't know if I did bring a presentation. I don't know if you can pull that up, but a lot of it actually is a duplicate of what Hillary did present.
Do you see it?
But this has been a very challenging project to get approved because the building itself straddles the county line. And, Trinity Prep obviously sits in 2 counties, although the only physical access is through Seminole County. But Orange County still treated it as if it was their own project too. So we've got 2 special exception projects moving through the process. I think Orange County finally approved theirs yesterday. We also have a joint agreement in process, which will allow Seminole County to review the building construction plans. So it's just been a long time coming. And this is just a real quick summary of kind of what Hillary went through. Just that, there's a 30,000 square foot building being proposed. Right now, it's kind of been delayed because of all this entitlement work and that joint agreement between the 2 building departments. It took a long time. We had to get the attorneys involved. But anyway, it straddles 2 counties. And what's being proposed here is no student enrollment, and I'm going to get to that new student enrollment because it's science classes replacing existing science classes. As you saw on we'll see in a minute, it's kind of interior to the site, so it's not really impacting too many of the residents. We did have a community meeting and we got input from the residents, and I'll show you in one of the exhibits what we did to accommodate some of their requests. We are also demolishing 2 buildings in Orange County, the old science building, so there's kind of a net, very small increase in the total square footage. You can see the enrollment, how it's split, not anything that's significant, but just so you can see. And as Hillary pointed out, parking, we are overparked by Seminole County's code. Not so much by Orange County code, quite difference in the codes, but we are way overparked Seminole County. If you could put the next slide up, that just kind of gives you a magnitude of the whole property and the building that's going to go on top of a existing parking lot. So I know there were some public comments about stormwater, but that parking lot has been permitted already. There's a pond that serves that parking lot. We'll actually be reducing the amount of impervious in that area, and it's going to go to the same pond. And this is a little closer up view of the building and how it fits into the campus, and showing the 2 buildings in Orange County in red that will be demolished. The last one is the landscape plan, which one of the reasons I wanted to show it was if you can see on the very top, that's the lake that's on the east. The neighbors on the other side of the lake had requested some additional buffering from them, so we're adding some trees along the outside of the road to accommodate that comment. Now, the one thing that came up today, we were not privy to the new condition that caps the school. And I didn't find out today till about 2 o'clock that condition was going to be, or maybe 12 o'clock, that condition was going to be added. I've been in contact with the headmaster. He's gone to the board. They are just not in a position to be able to accept that condition tonight, given that they just got it today. They haven't been able to meet as a board. I mean, they understand that any significant expansion of the school would require a new building, which would have to come back for a special exception. But, you know, that number of enrollment is a fluctuating number. I mean, it's been higher. So to cap it at today, you know, if one family's younger brother suddenly comes in and wants to go to the school and they can't allow that, it's just very restrictive to cap that. And I mean, we've been going through this process 6 months. To just learn about that today was a little bit difficult. So we're in agreement with everything except that condition. Would like to request that we move it forward without the condition. If you want to condition it that, you know, future buildings need to come back for expansion, we fully understand that. But to put a hard cap of the existing enrollment is not something that they're willing to accept tonight.
Chairman?
And I'm here at questions, and then if there's public comment, I would reserve a right to come back to.
I was just waiting for you to complete your comment. Go
I
ahead.
just have one question. Who imposed that commission, Seminole County or Orange County?
It's
For the
in-
number of students?
It's in your package for a condition on your approval tonight, from what I understand. Is that correct?
I hadn't
Yeah.
seen that. I'm looking for it now.
I don't see it in our package,
I
quite
didn't
honestly.
either.
If it was done at the last minute. I'm sorry, I don't see it.
It wasn't included in the package. As I stated in my presentation earlier, it was something that was just added on and it would be modified in the development order.
Where did this
What's-
come from?
Traditionally, when we do special exceptions for schools, we do cap the student population. That's usually part of the approval process. Since this school has been in existence since 1968, they never had a special exception that capped the student enrollment. So staff decided to go ahead and place that cap now going forward.
And what is the cap?
Well, we have it at 888 as that's what their current student population is.
This is one of the top schools in the area. I can't believe you're even considering that, but okay.
Other questions of the applicant or staff? No? Seeing none, then we'll move on to public comment. Tammy, I don't have any cards. Do we have anybody here who would like to speak in favor or against this item? What color is this? For or against? Oh, opposed, okay. Okay, we'll start with Stephen Lynch. Mr. Lynch, please come up, state your name and address for the record.
Sure.
Kathy, will you be my timer?
Stephen Lynch, 5520 South Lake Briquette Lane in Trinity Bay. I might not need to say anything because we received a map, which is not what he just said. We have a woods right behind us that is listed as wetlands. I looked 26 years ago when I bought the place. I came up here and looked, and it said there's a creek, there's ferns, it's wetlands. And where this shows is it's going right there. And that's not what he stated. So I might not have anything to say. The population I don't care that much about, but it was the woods right there that are full of water, and we flood now. We never used to flood. And if you're just going to keep adding more things on, I'm worried about that. We now get 2 or 3 feet at the rain. It takes a week to go away. We never had that before in all my 26 years being here. And so if they're not going to take out the wetlands there, I'm okay.
Okay, and Mr. Lynch, are you able to point to or show us where is the forest that you're talking about?
That
Yeah.
one doesn't show it.
You want to,
That one
Go to
doesn't.
my previous slide, you can see it.
There you go.
you want to show them that? That's what we received in the mail, and that's nowhere near it.
The wetlands are up there.
Yeah, way up here. Trinity Break Plain. And you'll see the woods, and there's 10, 20, 30 acres, yes.
Okay.
So Hillary, those won't be affected in any way?
Yeah, look, the site, that's not it.
Okay, very
Okay,
good, thank
I'm
you.
good.
Our
Okay.
mapping system, just to explain, I know that that's been a common concern. Our mapping system automatically just places this anywhere on the property.
Oh, gosh.
Right, and not necessarily exactly where the structure will be, which is down here.
It's down there.
And the wetlands are up here.
Yeah, that's all woods up there, and so, okay, I'm good.
Thank you.
Here, you want your paper?
Next, we'll have Mr. Landy, Ken Landy, if you'd like to speak.
My name is Ken Landy, and I live at 5540 South Lake Burkett, about 2 doors down from Mr. Lynch. And my concerns initially were the map that we received, basically putting this building in our backyard. I realized that earlier this summer, there was discussion to build a new building on a parking lot close to the administration building, but we had not gotten any feedback since that time. So our assumption was that they were going to build this building behind us at this point. All that said, just to echo what Mr. Lynch said, the runoff, the nature of the property there is concerning. Our other concern is if this land is rezoned, it's passed, does this pave the way for us now to be in a situation where they can just build whenever they want to because the land has now been repurposed? So that's obviously my concern. I'm sure it's a concern of many of my neighbors at this point in time. So that's it.
Thank you. Could we have staff speak to that, please, Kathy?
Correct. Any improvements that they do will require for them to go through this public hearing process. So if they were going to add any additional buildings, it would require to go through this same process.
Okay, can I ask one more question?
Yeah.
So with the development today of the need for 35 more parking spaces, where is that going to go?
Microphone, please.
No, I'm sorry. Sure. With the understanding that today 35 more parking spaces were now required or added to the project, where are they going to go?
I
Because,
can show you, actually.
do you want this?
It's not really zooming in. Can you see this?
Yes.
So this is the proposed building. The additional parking will be right, there's a few spaces here in front, and then there's an area right here that they're proposing to put additional parking. That's already being parked on.
That's current parking lot?
It's a grassy area that in the aerial maps you can see they're already parking on.
Okay, so it's not a parking lot per se, but people are parking on it?
Right. But they will be, well, they will have to pave it. Make it
Okay,
official.
and that's where it's starting to encroach on our subdivision. And my concern is they start there, and before I know it, they're in the subject property of concern, so.
Like Ms. Hamel said, they'll have to come back through another process like this for
Okay.
any further building.
And all this area here is wetlands.
Okay, any other members of the audience who'd like to speak in favor or against this item?
Didn't have a chance to fill this out, but
Oh, Tim Conyers, yeah. I just want to support the school and to say that putting a cap just doesn't sound
Your
reasonable.
name and address for the
Oh,
record.
Tim Conyers, 5550 South Lake Burkett Lane. Fortunately, all this was cleared up, so that's mainly why we were here, everything else. But I think that to put a cap on the school population, like he said, just doesn't seem reasonable at all. And I don't know who has the authority to change that, but I hope it will change it and not do that kind of cap. Thanks.
Tammy, does that conclude the comment cards that you have?
That is it.
Okay, Very good. In that case, we will close the public comment portion of the meeting and give the applicant an opportunity for rebuttal, if he'd like.
Not necessarily rebuttal, but just additional information for the residents. That area up in the northwest corner is currently encumbered by a conservation easement. So not only would you have to come back to this board, but you would have to go to the state to remove a conservation easement, which is very difficult to do. So just to put them a little more at ease. And number two, I think maybe just terminology. We're not changing the zoning tonight. The school is allowed to be in this residential zoning as a special exception. So we thought we were just amending the special exception, but nobody could find one. So I guess this is becoming the special exception to allow them to be in the same zoning that they've always been in, which is residential.
Thank you. Okay, board discussion, or do I have a motion?
I just want to make a few comments. I mean, it's pretty outrageous that they've operated since 1968, and now staff decides to put a cap on the enrollment using their current enrollment, which they don't know whether that's more or less than it normally is. So I think that's an outrageous request. So based on that, I'll recommend the Board of County Commissioners approve the special exception and associated development order without the cap for enrollment for an additional education building at an existing private school in the A1 zoning district on 90.19 acres located on the south side of Aloma at Trinity Prep Lane.
Do I have a second?
I
or
second that.
discussion? Okay, you have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, seeing none, the motion carries. Next, we have a little bit of closing business. Maybe Kathy, do you have an interim planning manager's report for us?
Yes, I do, to let you know that the Board of County Commissioners did approve the Land Development Code changes that were presented to this board this evening. And also, we have hired a new planning manager. His name is Dale Hall. He will be starting next week, and you'll meet him at your next meeting.
Okay. We'll move forward then with the election of the chair and the vice chair.
Let me just, if I could, Madam Chairman, interrupt and just say, we are in the understanding we lost one of our members, Mr. Stephen Smith. I guess there's some conflict because he's on the Sanford Airport Board. And I just want to say he was a great member of our board, and thank him for his service. And please, Tammy, acknowledge that in the minutes if you would.
Yes, I would say that further to that, we will have a new board member joining us next month. I know sometimes we do these elections in December and sometimes in January, so we've sort of already postponed. But I don't know what the board thinks about going ahead and holding the election tonight or waiting until our new member can be present as well.
I don't see any reason to wait for a new member who doesn't know anybody, and we've already have a vice chair who it's his turn to move up and take this wonderful seat. So based on that,
I hear a motion.
yeah.
Or a nomination.
I'll nominate Dan Lopez as our chairman for this coming year.
Second.
Very good. Any other nominations? Then we'll call a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. Congratulations, Chairman Lopez.
Thank you very much, everybody. Appreciate it. Thank you, fellow commissioners.
And if I could, I'll go again.
For your instructions, too.
For vice chair, one of our great attendees, he doesn't miss a meeting, or I don't think you've missed a meeting, maybe one. I'll nominate Mike Lorenz as our vice chair.
I want to second that.
Am I doing this? Well, I'll tell you what, as my first duty as chair, I'm going to turn the gavel over to last year's chair, so I would love to see her finish up this meeting before.
Hey.
So I'll go ahead and I'll second the motion.
Okay, excellent. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. Congratulations, Vice Chairman Lopez. All right, in that case, and we don't have any other business, ready to adjourn? Okay. So adjourned.
Excellent. Great
I
job.
beat you by a minute.